For more on the Warriors' offseason plans, we welcome in Tim Kawakami from The Athletic. And let's start with the first domino that will most likely fall. June 22nd, the NBA draft. We are expecting things to move a little quicker than that. Bob Myers, he's been the GM through all this success. What are the chances we've seen the last of Bob Myers as a member of the Golden State Warriors?
I think it's a coin flip. I think, it's up to him. It's his personal decision. If he wants more money, then it's up to Joe Lacob whether to pay him. But it's not clear it's just about money. It's about opportunity. He might want to do something else. It's been a long run for him. He might be a little burned out. That decision probably happens after the draft. It's probably happening now. He's at the draft combine probably in a couple of days. But that's a big one, obviously. And a lot of other things might come from there. After that one is Draymond Green. Is he going to stay? He has a player option. All signs are that he is going to negotiate probably an extension with the Warriors. I think the Bob Myers thing kind of will set the tone, though, because if he's going, then who's making the decisions? Like, who are they negotiating with? Who's going to decide what to do with Draymond Green, with Jordan Poole, with a lot of these other things? So I think Myers comes first, and we really don't know because I don't think he knows right now.
It's a fascinating situation right now because the Warriors, they were a good team this year. They were not as strong as they've been in years past, obviously, but they're two players away from being back to the competitive unit they've been for a long time. Now, I'm giving you the GM tag right now. What's the biggest decision you're making, and is it a decision or is it decisions? Are they blowing this thing up?
I think several decisions. They're not going to blow it up. I think all signs are that they're going to try to keep it. You got Steph Curry going well, right? They did not have a great season. There are a lot of reasons for that. The team that was good enough to win Game 7 in Sacramento is probably good enough to compete next season if you put other pieces together with that. What do they do with Jordan Poole? He's got the big contract kicking in next season, but he can be traded. Maybe even Jonathan Kuminga. I think they'd want to keep Jonathan Kuminga, but we saw how many significant minutes he got in the Lakers. 0. Maybe Steve Kerr trusts him a little bit more next season. They've got some things. I think player-wise, Draymond Green's the biggest decision. I think he's coming back probably with a short extension. And then what they do with Jordan Poole. Can they get better if they move Jordan Poole, or do they just hope he gets better? Those are very big decisions.
Well, the report's out on Klay Thompson that the Warriors potentially want to extend him for the future, but it could potentially come with a pay cut. You're a betting man right now. What is Klay Thompson's future in Golden State, not just next year, but beyond?
I think you can ride it out. He's $43 million. He's not going to be, hurting for money. He didn't have a great postseason. He has had great moments. He's come back from 2 massive injuries. He's not getting any younger. They certainly have rewarded him for this. That one, I don't think you have to do anything.
What do they do with Jordan Poole if they do look to ship him? Are they bringing in a potential big, a wing player? What's the biggest specific need that you think the Warriors need to address?
They need another guard. They need somebody who can create shots. He can't create shots, but like you talk about the three, he's just not a consistent three-point shooter. Tougher, maybe a slightly bigger guard. They could use a wing. If you could package Poole together with Kuminga, can you get a great wing? That's possible. We got, have to take a look at the market. Got to take a look at the contracts. I don't think he's untradeable. You get a lot of fans saying he's untradeable. 4 years, $123 million. Now, part of that deal was the Warriors thinking they could trade him if they needed to down the road. They've done this before. I think they can get something, but I would say you would need a guard then. You'd have to figure out, because they're probably going to lose Dante DiVincenzo to free agency because they can't pay him. They're in this new world where these high tax paying teams cannot pay their own guys for raises. It's going to be very interesting. Can they do better than Jordan Poole? That is one of the key questions for this offseason.
So Jordan Poole is one of those moves that if it did happen, you'd say, I was potentially anticipating it. What's a move that you are anticipating that, maybe the rest of Dub Nation doesn't think is going to happen right now?
It's tough to say. Let's see what they do with Kuminga. I think they're going to be attractive to players on cheap contracts. That's all they can sign them to. We've seen it happen with DiVincenzo this season, Otto Porter the year before that. There's some other guys. I don't know which names might come up, but look at Toronto's roster. They've kind of had a bad season. Pascal Siakam is a star. Can the Warriors get into that? OG Anunoby is another really interesting player. Not saying the Warriors can't get them, but when things start moving around and they can put Jordan Poole in the mix and maybe Jonathan Kuminga, I'm not predicting anything. I'm saying those kind of those rosters seem to match for a trade. Like, Toronto has a lot of guys the Warriors could use. The Warriors might have a guy or two that Toronto can use. I'd take a look at that one.
And a fresh podcast is out. Where can the viewers see it?
It's on anywhere online, Apple, anywhere, Spotify.
Anywhere online.
Yeah,
Easy
if you listen to this podcast, it's available TK Show or Warriors Plus Minus, either one.
Just type it in. All right, Tim Kawakami from The Athletic. Appreciate you joining us today.
Good to be here.